Writing sucks. I came to this conclusion after I got my very first AP3 essay back. I thought it was the greatest essay written in the history of the world until I got it back. I got a 2 out of 9. And once you run that through AP grading scales and convert it to a numerical value for gradebook, that's actually pretty garbage. So, I thought this for a while until the weeks went on in the class and I got used to writing. Maybe writing doesn't actually suck. Maybe it's just difficult. Correction. Writing is hard. I believed this for a while until I remembered that very first essay that I wrote. You see, after 2 hours, that 2 was rewritten into a 4, which was rewritten into a 7 about another hour after that. Maybe writing isn't actually hard. Maybe writing is just proportional to how hard you want to try. One thing is for sure, though, is that speaking is much easier than writing. Correction. Writing is harder than speaking. I mean, that makes sense, right? I talk all day long. I talk to my friends. There's nothing hard about speaking. You see, I know this girl, and this girl is all I could ever ask for. Adventurous, spontaneous, daring, unique, more wildly exhilarating than anybody you could ever know. So breathtakingly gorgeous inside and out that she captivated my attention from the very start. She's the kind of girl that you stay up late thinking about, or that you wake up dreaming about, enchanted simply by the aura of her personality. She's the kind of girl that you go exploring with, or that you build tree houses with, or have snowball fights with, or just sit around a campfire in the middle of nowhere with. She's the kind of girl that I want to spend all my time with. She's everything I could have dreamt of, plus more. And so I decided one day that I was going to tell her how I felt about her. Before long, we found ourselves huddled in the cab of my truck on a freezing September night, my heart just beating out of my chest in pure anxiousness. I remember how it went exactly. I like your face. Followed by the most awkward couple of minutes in my entire life. Embarrassing, right? You see, the point is that sometimes writing is actually easier than speaking. I had this eloquent symphony about how I felt about her in my head, but when I tried to recite it, it didn't exactly go as planned. You see, whenever we speak, our emotions get all in the way usually. They jumble everything up. But whenever we write, your emotions are what strengthens your words. Emotions make your words come alive. Okay, so maybe writing is easier. Correction. Writing is easy. I mean, that makes sense, right? Scrambling for 45 minutes to write in-class essay on a topic that you're surprisingly and suddenly introduced to? Easy. Attempting to express a whole world of knowledge and history into a 7-page maximum research paper and understand the holistic complexities of an extremely controversial argument to the point of mere summary? Way too easy. How about figuring out what your alarm clock looks like, flipping over to 4 o'clock in the morning because you forgot to work on that out-of-class essay that, by the way, is due tomorrow, first period? Bring it on. Now, if you agreed with any of those, first, I would probably call you a liar. Second, this is my chance to say, please get some help, because writing is not that easy. Writing consumes us, and writing beats us up. Imagine this. You're going up against a 240-pound Mike Tyson in a boxing match, and you're just a scrawny 145-pound cross-country kid. Oh wait, that's me. You see, the point is that writing is never that easy. But now we kind of have a problem. If writing isn't easy and writing isn't hard, that either means that I have severely contradicted myself or that writing is something else. You see, I think that writing is so many things all at once. You can't really pick one. I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes writing sucks. That's just a plain fact. It sucks sometimes. And sometimes writing is hard, like really, really, really hard. Sometimes writing is harder than speaking, and sometimes writing can be easy, but sometimes it's the opposite of all of those things. So where does that bring us? What is writing? I think you need to understand that writing can be all of these things simultaneously, changing all the time. How about this? Correction. Writing is. You see, you can't just put a name card on writing that says, "Hi, I'm writing," and expect to know everything about it. It's kind of like that quiet kid in your class that doesn't say a whole lot. He's actually probably an extremely complex person, probably as complex as you if you want to fathom that. But if you just label him as shy, you're never going to be able to understand who that person really is. And it's the same way with writing. If you label writing as any of these things, then you're never going to be able to comprehend all the complexities that writing has. If you always think that writing sucks, then you're never going to enjoy writing. It's a plain fact, and that's what's kind of sad about lots of high school students is they just have that mentality. If you believe that writing is hard, then you're never going to experience those times when writing just comes naturally to you. And it's just, it goes on and on. You can't just label writing. Now, we might be able to agree that writing is all these things all at once, and that's all well and good, but there's one last thing that doesn't make sense. How are we ever going to understand and experience this characteristic of writing if all it ever is static words on a page and a chore? That's where my last correction comes into play. How about this? Writing does. See, I believe that writing is truly alive. It is active and living and does things. And all you have to do is make the commitment to pick up a piece of writing, and then you just have to let it do its thing. Writing will do things. You know, it's kind of the same way coming here. You have to make the commitment to come to monologue show. But then that quiet, shy kid in your class that doesn't really say a whole lot can stand up on a stage and share how he really feels about things, like writing and the role it's had in his life. At least for me, I can say not only that writing does, but that writing just did.